been covering World War III developments on this broadcast for some time now, warning that tensions across nations seem to be escalating despite the worldwide call for peace. When it comes to this issue specifically, it seems that the people are not being heard. We heard President Trump giving his reasons for deploying nuclear submarines towards Russia last week. He stated that he was doing it for safety reasons and also said that the US is ready for nuclear war. Well, this in from Reuters today. Russian and Chinese navies carry out artillery and anti-submarine drills in the Sea of Japan. It says that the Russian and Chinese navies are carrying out artillery and anti-submarine drills in the Sea of Japan as part of scheduled joint exercises, the Russian Pacific Fleet was quoted as saying on Sunday. The drills are taking place 2 days after US President Donald Trump said that he had ordered 2 nuclear submarines to be positioned in the appropriate regions in response to remarks by former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev. However, they were scheduled well before Trump's action. And while they may indeed have been scheduled well before President Trump's action, this does speak to a wider issue which no mainstream media in the West really speaks about: the capabilities of 2 nuclear-armed nations teamed up against a world which seems to be increasing their desire to go to war with them. And it appears that China is waging a war of its own, mainly on the economic front, dumping US bonds and things of this nature. And this in from Disclosed, China is also choking the flow of critical rare minerals to Western weapons contractors. China's tightened export controls on rare earths and minerals like germanium, gallium, and antimony cripple US defense manufacturing. Supplying 90% of global rare earths, Beijing's restrictions since December delayed drone parts orders by 2 months, with samarium prices surging 60 times higher. Leonardo DRS's CEO Bill Lin warned, in order to sustain timely product deliveries, material flow must improve, as germanium stocks for infrared sensors in missiles dwindle. Over 80,000 Defense Department parts rely on Chinese-controlled minerals, per Giovini, exposing supply chain fragility. Weapons contractors supplying the US military rely on minerals that are mainly produced and controlled by China for microelectronics, drone monitors, night vision goggles, missile targeting systems, defense satellites, and more. Many are now saying that the prospect of peace has been completely obliterated. Martin Armstrong, who we had on the broadcast recently, says Trump has cut off all possibility of peace. The computer will be correct. We are headed into World War III, and the West will be confronted by not just Russia, but China, North Korea, and others who will also turn against these policies. We also have this tweet which we want to show you. So there was an article recently in The Telegraph, and we spoke about the possibility of Australia and the UK fighting together. And Britain says now that they're ready to fight over Taiwan. And this person really lays it out perfectly. He says, "We have reached the state of absolute mass delusion. Half of the population on welfare, 80% of Muslim households on welfare, deindustrialized, under civilian invasion, cover-up of British girls being sex trafficked. Let's fight Russia and China." And that tweet there really encapsulates the attitude of all Western leaders at this point. The hope was supposed to be President Trump. The Russia-Ukraine war was supposed to be over within hours. The Middle East, ceasefire before Trump is even inaugurated, he demanded. But things aren't going this way. And instead of Western leaders focusing on the issues every single one of their countries is facing, they seem to be hell-bent on this war with Russia and China. Young people can't afford homes. Cost of living is still through the roof. The price of property, obtaining finance, let alone people's wages, are just all over the place, and there seems to be no fix for these issues. We still have poisonous shots on the market. We still have geoengineering taking place. Sure, there's been some food dye banned, which takes place sometime in the future, but the core of the problems that this administration was chartered with correcting course on have yet to be addressed. And meanwhile, world tensions are ramping up by the day. What we see is a continuation of every Western nation committed to globalism rather than focusing on their own countries and the issues within. And it seems like world war is a foregone conclusion at this point. What we really need is cool heads to prevail, to stop focusing on distractions and mainstream media slop, and understand that things are heading in a very dangerous trajectory. And as soon as people understand this fact, perhaps we can turn it around.